English teacher, part 102. Select mode and sequence of presentation. Depending on the skill to be taught, you may find it more efficient to teach it as a whole or to break it up into its components, sub-skills, and teach each one separately. In making your decision, you should consider the age and experience of the learners, their learning style, preferences, and the complexity and importance of the skill. Whatever approach you decide to take, you should plan to teach the sub-skills in their logical order of the use. Prepare instructions and practice schedule. If your students are to learn and retain a skill and to transfer it to new contexts, you must set a suitable schedule for instructions and practice. The usual approach to teaching a new skill is to review applicable knowledge, establish set, demonstrate and explain, check for the comprehension, provide guided practice, and check proficiency, provide independent practice, and check proficiency test. Your target in providing some practice experience may be to help students overlearn in order to retain a skill that they can use later on different contexts. Students should usually overlearn basic skills to the level of automaticity. To achieve this, you must plan intermittent practice sections that include drills, reviews, and performance tests. As you plan, you will have to make a number of decisions. How many practice sessions are necessary? How long should each one be? Should practice sessions be mastered or distributed? Should practice session be massed or distributed? I beg your pardon, please. It is very difficult to generalize about these matters. Decisions depend on the nature of the skill to be learned and the development levels and the learning strengths of your students. In general, it is better to distribute practice unless breaking it up interferes with the flow and the level of the learning. In the latter case, practice concentrated in one or few longer sessions is preferable. Motor skills are often best learned in the distributed practice sessions with rest intervals in between, unless the time is limited and your students are able to perform efficiently without rest intervals. Organize skills learning. The way you recognize skill learning experiences which will help you or hinder your students' acquisition and retention of skills. You can help learners to discover the uses of the organization of presenting elements of skills in logical ways so that each part is clearly seen to fit the whole. Procedures for skill teaching. Essential procedures involve the direct teaching of the skills and are orientations establishing set presentations, structured or guided practices, independent practice that illustrate the method for skill teaching described below. The figure describes it. Provide a positive classroom climate. Since learning skills involves direct risk-taking, it is important for you to make sure that your classroom climate during these lessons encourages risk-taking and stresses learning from the deferred successes. Errors should never be considered failure, but opportunities for advancing levels. There are procedures of skill teaching. And number 1, state objectives and establish set. Number 2, review prerequisites learning. Number 3, present new materials. Number 4, guided practice. Number 5, independent practice, clear directions and monitoring. Provide feedback and reinforcement. Initial practice with 80 to 95% success rate. Number 6 is spaced review and testing. Promote transfer. Use small in sequence steps. Give clear, detailed explanations. Demonstrations. Check for the understanding.